You're not heartbroken. You're in withdrawal. I know how that sounds. But in 2010, a team of neuroscientists put freshly dumped people into a brain scanner and showed them a photo of the ex who had just ended everything. The regions that lit up were the same ones that fire in a cocaine addict who hasn't had a hit. Craving, reward, obsession, and the parts of the brain that process physical pain. So when you're lying awake at 3 a.m., replaying every conversation, refreshing her profile for the 9th time, certain you'll never feel normal again, that is not your soul telling you she was the one. That is your dopamine system going through detox, which is a deeply unromantic thing to learn about yourself. I spent a long time studying men who actually got their ex back, real cases, and almost all of them did it the wrong way and lost her for good. Only one thing actually worked. It isn't a text template. It isn't a trick. And by the end of this, you may not even want her back. Let's begin. First, understand what is actually happening inside your head, because it feels like love. It isn't. Not right now. Your brain evolved to treat a lost partner as a survival threat. So when she leaves, your reward system doesn't go quiet. It goes into overdrive, flooding you with craving to make you chase. Thousands of years ago, that instinct kept you alive. Today, it mostly just makes you send things you'll regret. It's also why she has suddenly become perfect. Every flaw, gone. Every bad night, quietly deleted. Withdrawal doesn't keep an honest record. It keeps a highlight reel. So the first rule is a hard one. Stop trusting the feeling. The ache is not evidence that she's your soulmate. It's evidence that you're in withdrawal. And withdrawal, like any addiction, gets worse every time you give in to it. Which brings us to the mistake almost every man makes. He chases. The long message. The apology that turns into 3 more apologies. The 2 a.m. phone call. And every time, he feels better for a few minutes and pushes her further away for good. Here is the psychology, and it isn't kind. There's a principle called reactance. When a person feels their freedom being pulled away, when they feel pressured, chased, managed, they don't move closer. They push back to protect it. Your desperation doesn't read as love. It reads as pressure. And no one has ever fallen back in love with pressure. It goes deeper. When you pull toward someone who is pulling away, their mind quietly begins assembling reasons to justify the distance, magnifying your flaws, rewriting the good parts. The harder you push, the more reasons they find to leave. Psychologists call it the pursuer-distancer trap, and you cannot win it by pursuing harder. The chase itself is what lowers your value. Every desperate message says the same quiet thing. You were right to go. But suppose you're stubborn. Suppose you chase long enough, apologize hard enough, and it works. She comes back. Here is what the research says happens next, and it is not the ending you're hoping for. Studies on couples who break up and reunite, the on-again, off-again pattern, found more distress, more uncertainty, and up to twice the rate of aggression. Because nothing was repaired. The dynamic that ended it is still sitting there. You didn't fix the relationship. You restarted the one that already failed. Reunions built on loneliness and "I miss you" don't hold. They end again, slower, and more painfully. So getting her back is not the victory it looks like. Getting her back as the same man who lost her simply schedules the next breakup. So what worked? The men who genuinely got their ex back and kept her all did the same, counterintuitive thing. They stopped trying to get her back, and they rebuilt. First, they stopped watching. There's research on this too. The men who kept monitoring their ex online, staying friends, checking her every update, recovered more slowly, wanted her more, and grew less. That habit isn't keeping you close to her, it's keeping the wound open. So you go quiet, not as a tactic to make her miss you, but for you, so the withdrawal can finally end. Then comes the real work, and this part has actual science behind it. When you lose a relationship, you lose a piece of your own identity. Some part of "who am I" leaves with her. The men who recovered fastest rebuilt it deliberately. New goals, new discipline, new skills, new rooms, new people. Psychologists call it self-expansion. And here is the part worth sitting with. Self-expansion is the same thing that makes a person attractive in the first place. Growth is magnetic. You don't rebuild yourself to win her back. You rebuild yourself, and becoming worth wanting is simply the side effect. And they changed the story they told themselves. Not, "I was rejected, I lost her," but "that was a chapter, and it taught me something." That single reframe, an ending instead of a rejection, measurably speeds recovery and quiets the craving. So they became a genuinely different man, steadier, fuller, building something of their own, and one of two things followed. Either she felt that shift from a distance and returned to a man who no longer needed her, which is the only kind of reunion that lasts, or he realized one ordinary day that he no longer wanted her back at all. He had simply outgrown it. And that is the paradox underneath all of it. The men who got their ex back were the men who stopped needing her back. You cannot fake it. There is no message that manufactures it. The only way to become the man she regrets losing is to actually become him. For yourself, whether she ever notices or not. So no contact was never a spell to summon her back. It's the quiet space where you get yourself back. Stop watching. Let the withdrawal end. Rebuild the man. If she returns to someone new. And if she doesn't, you will have won anyway. This is becoming alpha. Build the man. The rest follows.